You can do it. You got this. Be yourself. Be confident. So, my tip for having confidence is you have to have the feeling of confidence. People could say all these things, be your cheerleaders, and it's great and it's very encouraging. But sometimes you just don't feel it. And so, how could you get confidence or feel confident on demand? People talk about meditation. This is not a meditation video, but if you have already tried meditation, or even if you haven't, there's something about meditating that can give you the confidence that you are conjuring. It could be any feeling actually that you want or manifest. And here's the thing, you want to know what your goal is, right? So if you're in a job interview, what is your goal? You want to get the job. Maybe it's the role you've always wanted. Maybe it's something that you really feel good, really good at. And so you do all this research on the company and the person you're going to be interviewing with. And you do this for weeks, days, whatever. But then come the day of the interview, and during the interview, you just clam up. You forget everything that you rehearsed, everything that you thought of. Your key points are suddenly gone, right? So how do you feel? How do you regain that confidence? Well, here's the thing. If you want to feel it, you have to be less distracted. You have to take away distractions. We're always in our heads, right? We're always thinking about something. We might even think, wow, this person who is interviewing me looks kind of stern and they don't even look like they like me. I'm not going to get the job. Oh no, this is not going well, right? So that there is all that, those negative thoughts that creep in. And those are the distractions that you want to get rid of because you want to be focused. You want to stay assertive. You want to come across as confident and you want to connect with the person, right? So, whether it be an audience or an interviewer, you want to connect. How do you do that? You focus on what your goal is. What's your intention? So, in the job interview, you want the job. So, in a race, you want to win, right? So, you want to conjure up those feelings. When you meditate, you are going into a different state of mind by focusing on your breath. And people talk about that all the time, right? They say, you just focus on your breath, think about your heart. And while people say, okay, I've tried it and I can't do that, you know what you do? You really try to go into a space, as much as you can, go into a quiet space, close your eyes. When you close your eyes and you start to just breathe more slowly, you are regulating your nervous system. You're self regulating. You may not think you're doing much, but you are. And when you do that, all the distractions start to melt away. Once that happens, you can then focus. So you always want to say, what is my intention? If you want to rein in someone's interest, you don't want to, just ramble, right? You want to get to key points. When you enter a race, you want to do your best. You want to perform your best. So what do? You prepare, right? You prepare. You eat right. You eat whatever you're supposed to eat. Before a race, you prepare for your job interview with keynotes. All these things are actually part of the preparation, which is part of the meditation. I know it sounds odd, but there is a correlation. So when you do that, you can sit down at the interview and remember how it feels to be assertive, to be focused, and to know what it is. What is your directive? What is your drive? What are you getting at? And that way, the person will see that you're so engaging and that they can feel your feeling. They can feel that you want the job, right? Because you don't want to be sitting there like a deadbeat and Yeah, yeah, I think I'm qualified for the job. I'm the best person. Yeah, if you hire me, you won't regret it. Just lose all those like basic things that everyone says. Focus and talk about what it is that you're skilled at. What are your top three skills? Maybe maybe the software that they say that they would prefer that the applicant have, maybe you don't have that. But if you say that no matter what it is, you learn it quickly, you take it on, you use resources, you're resourceful, and people like that. They like that you take initiative, that you have the drive, and that you have the excitement, of joining their team. You don't want to be just another applicant, just somebody else sitting in that chair being interviewed. And the same thing with a race, and the same thing with anything, even if you're performing in front of an audience. What is it that you want to engage with them? What is it that you want to rein in? What feeling is it? And so those are the things that you think about. And when you focus on those things, they'll come. Your intention will still be clear, and you will be clear. You'll be succinct. You'll be able to be just you won't be distracted, and you won't have to think about all these things. What if I don't get the job? What if they don't like me? You don't have to think about that. You just focus on that. And here's the thing, even if you don't get the job or don't win the race, there's so much takeaway, because you will remember the things that you did well on and the things that maybe you didn't do so well on. I mean, who can do well all the time? And they always say this too, that in the end, you always look back on when you really, really tried so hard and you had some challenges, and then you got to a point where you felt good about yourself. Whether you got the job, whether you won the race or not, you just feel good. And that feel good emotion is the biggest takeaway, because it either gets you more excited about the next time that you enter a race or the next time you have a job interview, whatever it is. And you're just going to be so much more, the confidence actually adds on almost inadvertently without you realizing it. Because each time that you do better and better and better, you become more confident. So that feeling is going to come more on demand. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you go through the rest of your day feeling confident and uplifted.